My name is Mike Krpan, and I'm going to be doing a video presentation on the Agile framework. Agile uses iterations and team collaboration as its advantages over its predecessor, the waterfall model. First, I'm going to explain a little bit about the waterfall method, what that is, go into some details of Agile and what makes it unique, and then tell some of my experiences using Agile. So let's go ahead and get started. This slide compares waterfall versus Agile models, with waterfall shown on the top. Waterfall consists of a series of phases where each phase flows into the next phase, like a waterfall. These phases are worked on independently and serially, meaning the next phase isn't begun until the current phase is completed, approved, and signed off. At a high level, these phases are project planning and the general software concept, which flows into use cases and functional specification. What does a customer expect the product to be? The design specification phase adds details to the design, including a high-level database schema, communication protocols to be used, coding and testing tools, and additional details around low-level functional design. Then there's the coding phase, which is typically the longest, the testing phase to ensure that the requirements and functional specifications are met, and the bug fixing and integration phase prior to field deployment. Some of the inherent shortcomings are that the product isn't visible by the customer and can't be reviewed until the project is nearly complete. If there is rework or changes to be done, the process needs to go back nearly to the beginning to the functional specifications and design specifications and causes excessive rework and unnecessary product delays. The Agile model, shown on the bottom, still has a vision and high-level stories, but you'll notice each release box has several colored boxes within it, meaning the highest priority work gets pulled into that release, including requirements, design specifications, coding, testing, bug fixing, so that at the end of each release, there is something reviewable by the customer which provides iterative feedback during the software development process. The Agile sprint flow diagram has several components. The product backlog is the high-level requirements. As these are pulled into a sprint based on priority, these requirements are broken down into lower-level stories or subsets of features and worked on during a 2 to 4 week sprint. It's a time box that pulls in only the work that can be completed during that 2 to 4 week period. There's a daily Scrum meeting every day where the team gets together to discuss how the development is going. At that end of each sprint, you have a potentially shippable product. Although the product might not be complete as far as the customer standards, you do have something that is reviewable and can get feedback from the customer to provide an iterative software development process. The key roles within the Agile framework are a product owner, which acts as a customer representative, prioritizing the work, a Scrum Master that keeps the team aligned with the Agile model, and the team itself consisting of developers, testers, database engineers, IT staff, customer service, and support staff, all having an equal voice. There are several ceremonies, sprint planning and review, where the work for each sprint is planned, and then there's the sprint retrospective and daily Scrum meetings. And I'll get into these a little bit more in the next slide. The artifacts are the product backlog, the work that has yet to be completed for the entire product, the sprint backlog, which is the work yet to be completed for that 2 to 4 week time-boxed sprint, and burn down charts, which provide upper management with visibility on how the software development is going. Sprint planning typically consists of 1 to 2 hours at the beginning of each sprint, and it pulls in tasks based on the business value priority, so that the team is always working on the highest priority work all the time. The daily scrum is usually 15 minutes at a maximum. If it's longer, the team probably needs to be broken up into smaller groups. And it answers 3 key questions. What did you do today? What did you do yesterday? And do you have any impediments or obstacles? It holds each team member accountable on a daily basis and identifies obstacles to be removed by the team. And the sprint retrospective gives the team a chance to define what they did well during that sprint, what they didn't do well, and what needs to change. The Agile burndown chart shows how the team is progressing through a particular sprint. It allows visibility to upper management in an easy-to-read format so that others can see how the development process is going. It's common that most of the work will be completed at the end of the sprint, as shown in this diagram by the green bars. And at the end of that sprint, you have something that's deliverable that can be reviewed and feedback can be received by the customer. I've been working on Agile for software development for over 5 years. My company writes applications for mobile devices, and I directly worked on the native email, address book, and calendar applications, plus social networking, account integration, and some parts of the security. We started off on smaller projects to do a proof of concept, and it was successful. We released projects in a shorter time frame because we were able to work on multiple phases of the software development process at the same time. And we released with higher quality because we were able to get feedback during the development process while we still had an opportunity to make changes in real time. The best part of Agile that I found was the retrospective at the end of the 2 to 4 week sprint. It demonstrated working code to the key stakeholders, the product owner who represents the customer, plus upper management, which provided them an opportunity to give us feedback on how the product was progressing and gain confidence in the overall project schedule and milestones. We did have some issues. Typically, Agile teams are co-located. Being an international company, we had teams in 6 different locations. How we overcame this is we used instant messaging extensively, and we also used video conferencing, both for larger meetings and when we needed a longer one-on-one collaborative session with an engineer in another location. We would use our desktop video conferencing, and this built a strong relationship within the team. Another issue we had was a lot of our functionality was on an enterprise scale. We needed to work with the database, internet service providers, and the operating system. And typically these pieces would take months to develop. We used an Agile concept called a tracer bullet, which used a thin sliver of functionality that we built upon in later sprints. And we're able to still demonstrate and deliver working code after each sprint and build upon it in subsequent sprints. One more issue we had was unique skill sets. We only had a few database engineers, and so we used a concept called paired programming, where 2 engineers would sit down at one terminal and hammer out code. You would think this would be 50% efficient, but in the end it built a stronger team for us because the 2 people were able to do code reviews and peer reviews while they're developing the code, and also they shared their programming knowledge and experiences with each other and developed a stronger team for us. Agile is something that's going to be used for years to come, and I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thanks.